think a lot of people have trouble with the way things begin. Like we have this vision of the end point, or we have a vision of somebody else's end point. Maybe we begin in a new career field, and somebody else has been in that career field for say like 5, 10 years, and we see
Yeah.
the quality products, the things that they're doing, and we like, oh man, that's where I want to get to. And then we start our
Yep.
journeys, and we're like, dang man, it doesn't look like the other things that I've seen, and that can make a lot of people quit prematurely. And so I love the fact that you said, man, your commitment in football, or even your experiences in football, kind of prepared you for what you will be doing later on in life. Welcome to the Identify Your Lane podcast, where we interview guests who have mastered their lane, and we discuss how did they know that the path that they are on right now is the right path for them, for the sole purpose of helping others identify their lane so that you, the guest, can go and become a master of your lane. I am your host, Daniel Truelove Jr., and I'm excited about the guest that I have for you all tonight. This man is doing absolutely phenomenal things, and he has killed every single thing that he has done. And so I'm excited about talking about how did he get to where he's at within his life right now, but also how he was able to master every other lane that he was in as well. From football, then transitioning out, because we know that the transition in life can be very, very difficult. But this man has handled it basically flawlessly, as it seems like on the outside in. But we'll get a little bit deeper into that. So without further ado, I'm excited to bring to you all my guest tonight, none other than Travis Daniels. My man, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
Oh man, I'm doing good, man. I like that background. I see that Miami, Miami Dolphins gear you got back there.
Yeah. Yeah, my rookie year jersey. That's my rookie year jersey.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Man, I'm excited to have this conversation with you, man. We have a mutual friend by the name of BJ Stabler, man, and he was the first interview that went live, and he had nothing but amazing things to say about you, about the work that you're doing now, the relationship that y'all had and y'all built up there in Kansas City, man. So I just want to say thank you so much, man, for gracing the podcast and coming on and having this conversation with me, man.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate it. BJ is a dear friend of mine, and uh, as soon as he brought it up to me, I just was like, yeah, cool. Let's roll with it. So, yeah,
All
I
right.
really appreciate it.
No, man, I appreciate it, man. Well, let's go on and get right into it, man. The first question I have for you is this: when it comes to the terminology identify your lane, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so to me, it's just the thing that you think about the most throughout the day, when you eating lunch, um, before you go to bed. Whenever you have something that you think about that consistently, to me, that's where you should probably put that your effort into it. So to me, identifying my lane would be, the thing that I think about the most when I'm doing all of those things.
Okay, all right, dope. I really really like that. So what consumes you, and those are the things that you should be pursuing within your life. And so when somebody asks you, okay, hey Travis, what's your lane? Like, what do you say to people?
Well, my lane is a really broad thing, because I feel like I'm a complex person when it comes to interests.
Mm,
I have interest in sports, I have interest in imagery, so I have interest in my kids and what they're doing,
mm.
so when it comes down to it, it's just more about what am I doing at that particular time, and that's gonna be that.
Okay, okay, got you. And so, well, let's start here. So, for those that may not have been introduced to the work that you're doing, so what is it that you do as a profession currently?
Yeah, so I am actually a professional wedding photographer.
Mm,
Um, I photograph about 60, 70 weddings a year,
dang,
which is amazing because when I started, I was like taking pictures of like leaves with water on them after it rained,
really?
Yeah. But the cool thing about photography is that weddings, it introduced me to a lot of other lanes.
Mm,
We photographed the wedding, the client get pregnant, now we're doing maternity shoots. They have the
mm,
baby, now we're doing the family shoots.
mm.
And then that spin off to different people on the social media platforms, lawyers, doctors, all calling me, asking me to do headshots for like the whole uh, practice. So
Mm.
photography has been a really amazing thing for me.
Man, like, and that's crazy because, like, I don't think a lot of people grow up, especially when you have the backgrounds that we have, thinking that photography is something or an avenue for us in life. And so for you to actually not only dive into that, but to actually get to a place where you're doing 70 weddings a year, also doing, company shoots, family
Yeah.
shoots, and doing all these different things, man. Did you ever think that you would actually be at the place that you're at with photography that you're at now?
To be honest, I never really thought about it. Right now, let me take that back a step. I know that from playing sports, it allowed me to understand a lot of things about business. I went to
Mm,
LSU, played for Nick Saban. Nick Saban, I mean, he was diligent on us about being on time, being relentless, staying
mm,
focused, ignoring the noise.
mm,
Understanding that everything is all about a process. So even when I started my photography journey, I knew that those first pictures that I took that was like super trash, it's only going to be like that for so long up until I get
mm.
to that point. Now, I can flourish in the end. I even take
Yeah.
it back to when we first, let's say summer workouts are starting. At the end of summer workouts, we're going to have a conditioning test. On that
Mm.
first day, when you get to the facility, you can't pass that conditioning test.
Facts.
You got to go through the process,
Facts.
to get there. So for me, when I got into photography, I knew that if I do all of the same things that I did that made me successful in football, if I just run that same course,
Mm.
I'll end up where I'm at today.
That's good. That's good, man. Because I think that's important, man. Even myself, man. I think not just me, but I think a lot of people have trouble with the way things begin. Like we have this vision of the end point, or we have a vision of somebody else's end point. Maybe we begin in a new career field, and somebody else has been in that career field for say like 5, 10 years, and we see
Yep.
the quality products, the things that they're doing, and we like, oh man, that's where I want to get to. And then we start our
Yep.
journeys, and we're like, dang man, it doesn't look like the other things that I've seen, and that can make a lot of people quit prematurely. And so I love the fact that you said, man, your commitment in football, or even your experiences in football, kind of prepared you for what you will be doing later on in life. And so I want to actually dive a little bit deeper into that because your first lane was football. So tell me a little bit about like how did you discover football, and what was that? What was football for you?
Yeah, so football was everything for me. I grew up in Hollywood, Florida. Everybody knows South Florida is huge
Mm-hmm.
in football. So it started with sleepovers at the cousin's house. You got the matches in the living room, and you got a sock that's the football, and you got to jump over top of everybody and get like creamed. So from that
uh,
start, football has been just embedded in my life. I grew up in like a project type deal where it's like a lot
mm,
of kids and everybody's out there playing football. When we became of age of 8, when we could actually like join the team, me and all of the guys from the neighborhood joined the team, and we just kept playing,
mm.
and we just pretty much never stopped. So the love for it started then, playing sandlot football with all of the guys.
Okay. So when you started football, like, did you think that, man, football is going to be a way for me to make it out of the projects? Was it going like what was it for you that football was going to be for you, or was it anything at all?
Yeah, football for me was only to keep me out of trouble, right?
Mm,
Um, as a kid, you watched the NFL, but I never thought that I would actually make it to the NFL because I didn't know anybody that actually did it. So it's
mm,
almost one of those goals that's like not attainable. You see it, but it's so far out of the spectrum that you can't even really understand that you can actually make it to that point. So
mm,
me playing football and me growing up watching my older cousins, I had a couple cousins in particular that was really good. They would get all of the MVP trophies and come home with like 10 trophies after each banquet. But as they got up in the ranks of 15, 17 years old, They started smoking a little bit, selling a little bit of drugs, and they just
Mm,
kind of slid. The next one came up, did the same thing, slid. So me coming up in the ranks, I got the name at the park and all of those things. It was like, okay, I'm not gonna do this. I remember
mm,
exactly the day. Like I don't remember the date, but I remember exactly like where I was when I had to start. Deion Sanders was like my idol. I thought he was like the best
yeah.
player. And our birthdays was like opposite. Like my birthday was like 9/8. He like uh 8/9, something like that, you
Mm,
know?
yeah.
And I remember walking down the street and I was just like, man, I wonder if Deion Sanders, if he only drink Gatorade. Do he even drink soda? You know, he probably never even
Dang.
drank a beer before, right? So in my
Mm,
mind, I had built up this illusion of like, this is what it's gonna take, right?
mm.
So throughout my time in like college and all of that, I never had a drink until like my second, third year in the NFL.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow. And so
Yeah.
so 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 this is the thing that I want to ask you about because I want to kind of dive a little bit deeper into this because I think a lot of times, even what you hear, we hear this terminology about mentorship. You know, if you want to go somewhere, find yourself a mentor, somebody that has done it before. You know, you talked about having older cousins that were, MVPs coming home with 10 trophies and things like that. You said that you had not seen anybody do it before, and so you created your own picture. How tough was that to follow a blueprint that wasn't really there? It was just made up in your head.
Yeah, it wasn't as hard as it might seem because
Mm,
for some reason, God just gave me the ability to like actually dive in and go full steam. So growing up in my neighborhood, like the younger guys, they get into smoking weed and doing all of those things. I remember like literally driving in the car. It's four of us, and they passing the weed around and like, do you want
mm,
some? I'm good. I'm straight. You got it. And I just never really cared too much about what people thought of me or like me having to be this cool guy, right?
mm.
Because peer pressure is one thing that a lot of guys like kind of fall to. But for
Yeah.
some reason, it was just in me to not like deviate from that path. So I wasn't gonna smoke weed, wasn't gonna drink no alcohol. I was gonna give myself every opportunity to make it, and that came initially from the older guys in my neighborhood. So outside of playing football, I played basketball. I was really good in basketball. Like
Mm.
freshman year, starting on varsity, averaging like 25 points a game. Like I
Oh,
was like
dang.
that.
Mm,
So being a seventh grader, I'm able to play with the high schoolers and the grown ups, right?
mm,
And guys will always say, "Man, if I would have never did this, I could have did this. I would have never did that. I could have did
mm.
this." So from that point, it was like, you know what? I'm just not gonna do those things and just see what happened. And
Man,
and, and if it don't happen, I'm cool with it. You
yeah.
know?
I think that's amazing because man, I don't know if you've heard about this, but there's a story. Maybe it's some tale, but I'm not even 100% sure. But there's these two twins, and their father was an alcoholic, and the oldest of the twins grew up, and he became an alcoholic. And when they asked him like, "Why did you become an alcoholic?" He was like, "Man, that was my environment. My dad was an alcoholic. He hung around alcoholics, and so naturally, I became an alcoholic." The youngest son never drank alcohol a day in his life. When they asked him, "Hey man, why did you never drink alcohol?" He said, "Because my dad was an alcoholic and I saw what it did to him and I didn't want that for me." And
Right.
I just think that's crazy because you can have individuals that grow up in this same environment, but their perspective can be completely different. Like, did it take
Right.
a whole lot of mental fortitude, willpower? Like what was it like being the one that said, "I'm not going to do this," surrounded by a lot of people that were okay with doing it?
Yeah. It was it could be kind of tough, right? Because kids are not nice, so they'd be like, "Oh man, you not this, you acting like
Yeah.
all of these things." But I was just so content with myself. It's like, look,
Mm,
if that's what you want to do it. Like my college roommates, so they would tell you the same thing. We'll go to the daiquiri shop, right? So Louisiana is all
mm-hmm,
about the grenades and things, and they'd be
mm.
like, man, it just tastes like grape juice, man. It's great expectation. It tastes like grape juice. So me, I'm like, well, if it tastes like grape juice, I might as well
Just
drink
get the
grape
grape
juice.
juice.
Like, why I got to get the artificial stuff, you know?
Oh man, that's
But
dope.
everybody understood like my stance on things, and no matter what you think of me, I think the world of me.
Mm,
So I was just blessed, man, that to have a really good family. like I grew up in a single parent household, had a lot of uncles and cousins and people being around, and a lot of them they kind of carried themselves like in a good way. Not
Mm,
all of them did the right things or whatever, but none of them was like, um, like somebody that would just get bullied or picked on or
yeah.
whatever. They kind of stood their ground and everybody respect them, things like that. So that part of it just naturally fell down to me. But seeing
Mm.
everything out there, I knew this wasn't that just what I didn't want that.
Okay, got you. And so you stayed the path, right? And you said, man, if I do this, I want to give myself every opportunity to be able to make it. And you did that, right? And so you end up going to LSU. What other opportunities did you have, and why did you choose LSU?
Yeah, so I had pretty much almost a huge percentage of the colleges in the country for football and basketball. I had like football and basketball scholarships to
Mm.
the same school, like the whole nine. What was crazy is as when I was in Little League, like I was like getting it in to the point that we'll go to other parks and people know who I am with no
Mm.
Instagram. They like that's the guy because like I said, I love Deion Sanders, so I'll always score breaking, and I'm talking
Did
I'm
you
high
rock the
stepping.
deuce? Did you rock the deuce?
I rock 2-1.
Okay,
I
okay,
rock the
that's what's up.
21. So when I'm talking about I'm breaking, I got the hand behind the head as a
Mm,
kid, high stepping. I'm talking about I can hit the dance and look just like him, you know.
that's dope.
So it was like I had like all of these opportunities like in football and basketball when it came to picking a college. So let me take you back. When
Mm,
I was in high school, I was like halfway through my junior year before I actually even thought about going to a college. I didn't know anything about colleges to the point that I didn't even know
mm.
like Georgia Tech was in Atlanta. Like in
For
Georgia
real?
is not far from here. I had no idea.
Oh
I found that
wow.
out in college. I
Dang.
found that out in college. That's so crazy. But my upbringing was just like hanging out with the guys. You play football, you play
Mm,
basketball, you go home, you know?
mm,
So our thought process really wasn't so much out there, but I still knew like I just wasn't gonna do certain things, but I
mm,
just never thought about the college thing. My high school coach was like, Travis, man, look, I know you like hanging out with your boys, but you really could do something with this if you take it serious. From
mm,
that day, that's when I started thinking about college, right? So
mm.
I'm talking about I'm getting tons of letters every day. I just put in my book bag, give them to my mom because I know she like it, and I don't even think about it. So I never had like an ego or thought I was like this big
Mm.
time guy or anything like that. But so now I wanted to go to a school outside of the state of Florida when I
Okay.
decided. So Miami was off the table. Florida State, anybody. I don't even want to entertain y'all, right? And the reason was because I would think about things like when it's put on my mind, and I always was like, well, what if I don't make it to the league or anything like that, and then I get a job opportunity in a different state? If I never leave this state, how do I
Mm.
know how gonna adjust?
Man.
So that started the whole. So my top five was LSU, Virginia Tech, West Virginia, Iowa, Wisconsin. Like I'm
Iowa.
talking about, yeah, right.
Okay.
Iowa on the low, they got a lot of guys from like the Fort Lauderdale area to go there,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So I went on my visits. I went to Iowa like in January, and man, it was freezing, right? I get in the car with one of the guys that's from like Fort Lauderdale. I'm like, yo, put the heat on. He like, it is. I'm like, oh, hey, I'm not coming here. Like, nah, this is not happening. Like, I'm not coming here. Like, you got a heat on and it feel
Uh,
like this. I'm
it's
good.
a wrap.
So, so basically, I end up picking LSU because it was closer to Florida than all of the other schools.
Mm.
And if my mom didn't wanted to come up there and see a game, it'd be a lot easier for them to come to Louisiana versus getting to the other places. So
So
that's how that whole thing happened.
so did Nick Saban recruit you?
Yeah, yeah. Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher was like my recruiting coordinator. I was the first in our class. I
Mm.
was the first person to commit to LSU with them. So
Dang,
I was
that's
like their
dope.
first commitment.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
So Nick
And
Saban is the goat.
so
Oh, I'm going to finish what you're saying. My bad.
yeah. So when I was in high school, I went to like camps. I went to LSU camp. I went to the camp probably like twice. So I was like really familiar with it. And Jimbo, he used to come down to Florida like a lot. So I would see him
Mm,
all the time at the school, talk to him. Saban, he get to come, whatever, however they did the visits. But he came to the house, and my coaches knew them because I two guys from my high school went to Michigan State with Saban,
oh,
and
okay.
Jimbo went. He just used to recruit the area. So now you get
Mm,
them together. My high school coach is like, look, they tough now,
mm,
and when I'm looking at Nick like coach. Well, let me not even call him Nick. I'm looking at Coach Saban like this guy, this the
mm.
tough guy. Like what, you know? But boy, was he tough.
Facts,
Yeah.
facts.
So so that's how I ended up getting there. But yeah, it was just closer than all other schools.
Okay, so you get to LSU. Did you when did you start thinking about going to the NFL?
Yeah, so I was a senior. I was
Mm.
actually a senior, right? So 2003, we win a championship. I mean, we balling out of control. I probably got like 28 breakups, picks.
Damn.
I mean, we like giving up nothing, period, right?
Mm,
And it was so funny because people from around the way was like, "Man, you just balled out. Yeah, are you going to enter the draft?" I'm like, "Enter what draft? Like in the army? Like you're tripping? No way, I'm not entering nothing, you know."
wow.
So we had this guy on the team. His name Randall Gay. Randall Gay, he
Mm,
was like our nickel guy. He ended up being a free agent to the Patriots. They ended up winning the Super Bowl his rookie season, and he played a lot because he ended up playing a lot.
mm,
So that was the first time I thought I was like, look, this is the first time I've been around somebody that I know they talent. I know what they can do, what they can't do,
mm,
and they're out there playing. So that gave me the confidence that I can now do it because this is like my first time being around somebody for an extended amount of time, and they actually
mm.
made it. My freshman year when I got there, we had guys like Ryan Clark and Brady James, and like
Oh man.
people would go, but I only knew them for like such a like short period of time, so
Yeah.
I couldn't really like measure myself up against them.
Okay. All right. So tell me about your draft experience. So, like you were saying, you're balling out. Past breakups galore. Um, like when you decided to declare for the draft, did you think you were going to be a first round pick? What did you think your opportunities were going to be in the NFL?
Yeah, so I had like I thought I would go maybe anywhere between 2 and 4,
Mm-hmm.
second and fourth round, somewhere in that mix. Um, I didn't make like All American, so I know that a lot of the draft things was coming with like a lot of All Americans or
Yeah.
whatever get, you know. So for me, the draft experience was amazing. I was never one of those guys that just felt like I have to be the number one pick. Even if I was the fifth pick or I was a free agent, it was cool because it was like a dream, but it was like something I really didn't
Hmm.
think would happen. So if I get picked or I get an opportunity just to play, I would, have lived out that
Right.
total dream. I would actually have seen everything through from start to finish.
That's
So
dope.
I ended up going like the third pick in the fourth round. I was excited about it. I was
Mm-hmm.
happy about it. The thing was I got drafted to the Dolphins with Coach
Miami.
Saban, and that
Oh.
yeah, that draft class. We had some good guys, Marcus Spears, Corey Webster.
Mm.
You know, and everybody's like, man, hope Coach don't pick us because we just had to deal with it for like 4 years and we were like killing
Ah.
it. So we like, man, we know he about to put it on the guys in the league. But
Mhm.
yeah, I was the lucky one called, and I was able to get 2 more years with him.
Got you. Okay, so how many years total did you play in the NFL?
So I ended up playing 8 years total,
Oh wow.
which was like amazing, man. When I tell you, uh, just to have the opportunity to put that uniform on, to go out there and like play and meet guys that you've been like watching on
Yeah.
TV. So take you back. I'm from Hollywood, and like in Davie. That's where the Miami Dolphins like they was practicing at.
Got you.
It's up like 10 minutes away. So when I'm home from college, the NFL start before the college teams. I'm at their practice watching Sam Madison, Patrick Surtain, Zach.
Dang.
Like I'm watching the guys practice. And then it's like the next year I'm actually out there practicing with them. Like blew my mind.
That's wild.
I never like said anything to them about it. I just try to act
Hmm.
like an NFL player. But on the inside, I'm like, man, I can't believe like Zach is like really like talking to me right now.
Right.
And then since I got drafted with Saban, the defensive playbook it was the same from
Same.
college. So now a lot of the hazing can't happen Because if y'all trying to do this to me,
I
I'm
ain't
not
gonna
gonna
tell
help
y'all
you out
what's
with this
up.
playbook like you on your own. Mm-mm. I ain't telling you
Oh
nothing, you
man.
know. So I had a pretty smooth road.
hmm Okay, so the question I have for you, man, because one of the things that I've noticed about your story is that it seems that you've been someone that thought ahead a lot. So when you were younger, you said you would listen to the people that were around you, learn from their experiences, and you'd be like, okay, man, this is what I'm gonna do if I have this opportunity. I want to prepare myself for the road that's ahead, and so it seems like you were thinking ahead. A lot of people in the NFL, there's a common, notion that says like you never know when your last down is. Like, did
Right.
you ever think ahead about when you weren't going to be in the NFL and what you would do? Like, when did that conversation happen, or when did you start having thoughts about that?
Yeah, so day one, had a really awesome
Really?
agent. Yeah,
Oh
he ended up
wow.
he passed away. His name Albert Elias.
Mm,
But initially we started out with like a marketing company, right? So everything that we would do, any deal that we would get, we would run it like through the company. While I was playing, I ended up opening a barber shop that I ended up giving to my brother
mm,
eventually, called Cuts Remix. It
okay.
was a really awesome barber shop out in Georgia, like in Swanee.
Okay.
Um, Yep. And then I end up uh, getting into photography, So my mind
Mm,
has always been like moving because you never know when the last snap
right.
is going to come. It could come from injury. You can get cut. They could draft
Mm-hmm.
somebody. You just never know how it's going to play out. So for me, I just always wanted to give myself the best opportunity to stay on the team, do
Mm-hmm.
everything that I need to do. Far as like since college, I've never been late to a meeting. One time in
Right.
college, never late. I never been fined before.
Mm,
You know, I never like gave coaches like anything because I know
mm,
every year after the season is over with, they're gonna put all of the players' name on the board and they're gonna talk about each player, like what does this person bring to the table. So for me, when my name is gonna be presented to the rest of the coaches, to the GM, and all of that, I always wanted them just to only focus on football with me,
mm.
right? I'm not gonna give you any off-field distractions. I'm not gonna give you any of that. So if you're not gonna have me on the team, it's gonna be because I can't help you no more, and to me, that's like God way of saying, like, you know what? The road is
It's a
over.
wrap.
It's time to
Mm-hmm.
do something else. I don't know one person that only had one job their whole life anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I can't get stuck in the whole thing of I'm Travis Daniel, NFL player. It's what I do. It's not like who I am,
Mm.
you know?
Man, I love the way you think. Like I mean that, man, because like I mean I played football, high school, college as well. But I wasn't thinking like that, and I know a lot of guys that played not only in college but also in the league as well. And we've had conversations, but they haven't been ones to where they were always thinking like that. Like never put myself in a position to not not be looked at in a negative way. Like make sure that I'm putting my best foot forward in every arena. And even to the point where you said like, man, I was thinking about, you know, things that my life outside of the NFL on day one. Man, I didn't
Yeah,
think about life after football until I didn't have it anymore. Like that's really like when I thought
yeah,
about like, man, like, okay, I'm gonna have a career. Like, and what is it gonna be? Like, I got my degree in psychology. Like,
hmm
you can't even do anything with a bachelor's degree in
yeah,
psychology. You at least have to have a
right,
master's or a doctorate degree in order to even get any job. So that tells you, like, I wasn't thinking ahead. Even when it comes
uh-huh,
to my educational choice. And so, man, the fact that we're thinking ahead like that, man, I just love the way that you are processing things, man. And I'm excited that other people are going to have an opportunity to hear this conversation because I think it's going to be super beneficial, man. So let's go here. So you said that you were thinking ahead, but you still, even when thinking ahead, you still got an opportunity to play 8 years in the NFL. Let's talk
yeah.
about your last stop and what transitioned you into photography. Tell me about that experience.
Yeah, so my last stop, 4 years in Kansas City, wonderful years, man. It really reminded me of being back in Baton Rouge from
Mm,
the fans, right? In Miami, it was completely different. You have Miami Dolphins, you got the Marlins,
mm-hmm.
and you got the basketball team, the Heat, and you got the hockey team. On
Yeah.
top of that, majority of the people come down here don't even watch sports, so you'll be playing games and you have more Jet fans in the stadium than Dolphin fans,
Oh
right? So that was
wow.
like pretty different. When I got
Yeah.
to Kansas City, it's just the Royals and the Chiefs. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. And the stadium's on the same property, you know. So the
Mm.
camaraderie of like the fans and the players and just the energy was completely different.
Yeah.
But while I'm out there, going into like my third year of four, um, I really started like thinking about, okay, what am I gonna do? I started like the marketing company. I got the barbershop going, but I don't actually cut hair, right? I'm just the
Mm.
money behind it, and I got the ideas and things like that. But I started thinking about like what can I actually do that I'm gonna like enjoy as
Mm-hmm.
much as I enjoy playing sports. And it just so happened one day one of our team doctors came in to speak with our head trainer, and I
Mm.
happened to have a magazine because I just love photos in general. I always looking at pictures and things, and looking at him and just like, man, he's an older gentleman, make a nice living, and he's not killing himself to get the money.
Mm.
So I looking in the magazine, and we're just like, I wonder if I can create a photo that somebody will like the way I like this photo.
Mm.
So as soon as I after practice that day, I went up to the third floor and speak with our photographer, which is still the same photographer now, named Steve Sanders,
Oh wow.
right? So I tell Steve, man, I'm like really into like cameras, I got a camera, I'm thinking about like becoming a photographer. So it was basically like, bring your camera, let me see what it is. So it was like
Uh-huh.
just a little soccer type mom dad type camera. So he was like, well, if you want to get to doing stuff like this, you're gonna need this kind of gear. And he like showing me
Mm.
like all these lenses and cameras and stuff. So I started like you googling and like seeing how much it costs. I'm like, yo, this is $6,000, $11,000 for this. So he's like, yeah.
Mm.
So, but for some reason, every day after practice, I would go ask him questions and things, and he was telling me about like the ISO, the shutter speed, and the
Mm.
aperture. So I'm like, so he's telling me that numbers create pictures, and he like, yeah. I'm like, oh man, I ain't never gonna get this. Like, how am I gonna get numbers? How am I tell these
Mm.
numbers to give me a photo? So every day meeting with him, it started to be every Monday after meetings. We'll go like downtown Kansas City. We go to the flower garden area,
Wow.
and it would get to the point he'd be like, "Okay, take a picture of this person." Now, this person don't know I'm taking a picture of them, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how long they're gonna be where they're gonna be at. So he was
Mm.
teaching me to like to be quick, and I got to
Mm.
make the blue pants look blue, the purple shirt look purple, the sky look blue, and all of these things.
Wow.
So I was getting like a really like intense course of like photography, understanding how to be quick, which is
Mm-hmm.
things that you're gonna have to do in the field. But
Right.
a lot of people think that wedding photography is completely different from football, which is like the exact same.
Really?
You probably never even thought about
No,
it like that,
I
right?
wouldn't have. Why do you say that?
Yeah. Okay. Every Sunday, Saturday, you got to have a game plan, right? You
Mm-hmm.
can never go into each game with the same game plan because
Right.
every team is gonna give you different obstacles or
Absolutely.
challenges.
Yeah.
Same with a couple. The couples are always going to be different. Sometimes the guy and the girl are going to be the same height. Sometimes the girl might be taller than the guy. He might be a
Mm.
lot taller than her. So all of the type of poses and things like that, you can't go and give them the same thing
Mm.
because they're completely different.
Mm.
Personalities could be different. The guy, he don't smile none. So what you're gonna do? You can't keep asking him to smile. You
Yeah.
got to go into a different mode.
Mm.
Then when it gets to uh the venue, right? So I would like study like the hotel, the venue that we're gonna be shooting at, so I know all of the good spots if I never been to
Mm.
that place.
Smart.
And when I'm shooting here, now I didn't shot a lot of places, but as I was like going, um, I would visit the locations at the time that I was gonna be there, like the hotel, the time of day that I was gonna be there, so I could
Mm.
see where the sunlight is gonna be at,
Mm.
right? So now I know where I can get the best pictures from, because I know the sun probably going to be like this. You know, so preparation.
Right.
When it comes to um, being like a manager, right? You have to understand how to manage these personalities. On a
Right.
football team, you got all kind of personalities you got to
Facts.
kind of navigate.
Facts.
So weddings, you got brides, you got the momzillas, the bridezillas, the
Mm.
groomsmenzilla. So you got
Right.
to know how to navigate all of those, how to bring everybody back to where we're going to be at.
Mm-hmm.
People think that wedding photography is real challenging. It's like these big moments, but we used to playing in front of 90,000, a million people sometimes on TV. When I'm
Mm,
inside a wedding, it's 100 people, 600 people maybe. Like that's not
that's
even
nothing.
practice. That's
Right.
nothing. I
Right.
don't even see y'all. It's like crowd
Mm,
noise. My focus is like right here, you
mm.
know.
I think that's
So
crazy because
under
it sounds like even your scouting background, like you got maybe on Mondays you got first down install, and this is like even
yeah,
though your football background kind of helped you when you said, man, I went out and I scouted my venue. I scouted the time that the sun was going to be a golden hour and things like that. Like you
yeah.
took what made you an 8 year professional in the NFL and kind of use those same attributes and transition those into photography. It seems like.
Yeah, even timeline, right? So when you got married, the wedding planner probably give you a timeline, right?
Mm-hmm.
I create my own timelines, and my timeline look exactly like the practice schedule, right? You got walk through, warm up, stretch, 707. So it's like groom prep, bride prep. We got first look, we got transit, we got
Wow.
ceremony. Boom. So it's like taking everything that I learned from playing football and just applying it to this. Because first of all, I've been around like first class organization from
Mm-hmm.
from the go,
Yeah.
the NFL and at LSU. So I
Right.
understand how big business look, like how it's actually run. So I used to
Mm.
always make this joke with people like I'm running a Fortune 500 out my backpack, you know?
That's dope.
So
That's dope.
uh, when it comes to it, I don't know what like a CFO is.
Mm.
I don't even know like all of those terms still to this day. But I know what the head coach, general manager is. I know what the coordinators are. So that's how I break
Mm.
down my actual team. So me, I'm the head coach, general manager. My assistants are like my coordinators, and then my production team. That's like retouching pictures and creating album designs. They're like my strength coaches. That's getting everybody all sexy, and everybody love it. You know.
Oh man,
So
that's dope.
that's the,
That's
that's
dope,
the
man. That's
they
super.
they like this, right?
Yeah, I know for real though. But the question I have is that obviously it didn't start out that way. So introduce me to. So you said that you were meet. Did you say his name was Steven?
Steve
Steve
Sanders.
Steve Steve Sanders, right? So you're meeting with Steve.
Yeah,
Y'all started taking
yeah,
these photos. Tell me about your last down that you played, and then you said, "Okay, I'm going to go and become a professional photographer, videographer, whatever you said you were going to be." What was that like for you? Take us into the days. Like, was it easy? Was it difficult? What were the
yeah,
challenges? Sort of walk me through what were the early days like, and then how did you get to the place to where now you got you the head coach, you the GM, the offensive coordinator.
yeah,
You got all that stuff. It's sexy now,
yeah,
but it wasn't
yeah.
always sexy.
Nah, it wasn't always sexy. Okay, so I think our last game I played against like the Denver Broncos, I knew
Mm,
that game I was done. Like I ain't have
for
no more
real?
in me, right? So
Oh
I just like
wow.
pray to God before the game. God, please get me out this field the same way I walked on it. I won't come back,
Mm,
right? Walked out the field like this, two fingers gone,
mm,
right? So at first I wanted to be Sports Illustrated Victoria's Secret, right?
mm.
I have
Okay.
been in Miami, we have like all of these modeling agencies. I have like
Mm-hmm.
this friend named Taisha Cole. She was a model and she modeled for this company, Wilhelmina. So
Oh,
Wilhelmina is
okay.
a big, right? Like if you ever watch American Next Top Model, when
Mm-hmm.
those girls get picked, they either gonna get signed at Wilhelmina, Next, Ford, Elite, one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So um my friend, she took me into Wilhelmina, like headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
So now when I get in there, it's like, all women that's like running the show, you know? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, cool. So she like introducing me to them and they was like, okay, we'll give you a shot. Now, I'ma back it up. When like let's say we like midway through the season, we was like past midway through the season where we knew like what the playoffs was gonna look like. We
Mm-hmm.
wasn't going to the playoffs, but Atlanta Falcons was. So
Okay.
this how BJ come into play, right?
Okay.
So I would go to BJ office and I'm like, yo, BJ, I want to shoot the Super Bowl. He like,
Hmm.
Super Bowl? I'm like, yeah, I want to take pictures at Super Bowl. I'm like, look, it ain't nobody else asking to do this. I know I got to be the only player that care
Mm.
about shooting a Super Bowl,
Oh
you know?
wow.
So that should be easy to put one camera, one spot. They could tell me you can't move, you stick right here, right?
Right.
So So BJ was like, okay, cool. He started making the phone calls, and they was like, well, maybe not Super Bowl, a playoff game. At the time, Atlanta Falcons, they was gonna have like a home game, right? So the Falcons, they had like agreed to it, like I could do it. So
Oh
me and
wow.
BJ talking, all right, cool, I'm gonna do it, and it worked out perfect because if I get to do it, I go to Atlanta, I can shoot the game, and I can go check on my barbershop at the same time, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
As before the season ended, they got a call back saying they don't want any distractions on the sideline. If a player is on the sideline and he know about players, it was a they canceled that. They said no. I
Mm.
said, all right, well, BJ, look, Pro Bowl, you got to give me a Pro Bowl. Nobody care about Pro Bowl, right? So that one actually worked, right? So
Got you.
I am the first active player to be credentialed to shoot at the Pro Bowl. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
wow.
Because of the help of BJ.
Give
You
me give
know,
me the hand claps. Give me the hand claps.
I like that. I like that. So now in the interim of that, I am meeting with Wilhelmina. So
Mm.
I told them like, look, this week I'm going to Hawaii to photograph at the Super Bowl. They're like, I mean the Pro Bowl. They're like, when you come back, we'll send you a girl, right?
Mm.
So I'm like, all right, cool. I ain't think they was for real though. I just thought they just telling me anything to get me out of their place.
Right.
But when I came back, they actually set it up, right?
Oh
And when I
wow.
tell you I was nervous, like you ever been like just sweating so hard, like you've been running workout, like
Oh
I was
man.
just like so sweat because I'm used to telling people watch out for crack, dirt,
Mm.
cut this, we gonna make this side, like do all of these things. But I wasn't like I didn't know what to tell like the model. So
Mm.
luckily she knew what she was doing, and
Okay.
I just had to not mess it up,
Right. Okay.
So I get the pictures back to Wilhelmina. They love them. They end up using them in a portfolio, and then they started giving me more girls, and then
Oh
more
wow.
agencies started connecting with it. You know, so all of those things was going really good, right? To take us back before I can even get to that level. Me and one of my best buds, man, from the NFL, Brandon Flowers, right? So
Oh,
Brandon played with
okay.
me in Kansas City.
Yeah.
We still like tight to this day. So me and him would have like these. He had like a nice camera, a nice cheap camera,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I had like a nice cheap camera at the same time too.
Yeah.
But we would like take pictures of like steaks. Like his dad would cook these steaks on the grill, and we'll see like man who could take the best picture of the steak, like
Mm.
a bottle or a leaf or like anything. You go to the hotel and you see like a photo of like a leaf with a
Mm-hmm.
water drop on it. So every time it rained, like I couldn't wait. Like y'all to go outside, like get this picture
That's
of
dope.
this, you know. So I was like really like locked into it. I was on YouTube. I basically attended YouTube University. I
Yep.
got me a super master's. From that to this day, every night I am on YouTube, like watching like photographers.
Wow.
Yep, like fashion guys. Love fashion photography, and I try to incorporate that into weddings. But
Wow.
I started like from the bottom, taking pictures of like I say, flowers to food, anything that I
Wow.
could
That's
like
awesome.
shoot, I would do that, and it got me to the level. So I have people ask me like, man, like so how much did you like start charging people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, at first, my first 20 or 30 shoots was free,
For
right?
real.
Because yeah,
Okay.
because I always felt like I can't charge you for something if I can't show it to you, right?
Okay.
And then it was really tough to even crack into the whole industry of things because I come from football. So
Mm.
people expect me to be a trainer, a coach, or a scout or something like that.
Not a
But you're gonna
photographer.
sit behind the camera and take the
Mm.
picture, and you're gonna tell this person like how to pose. So I had to do a lot of free stuff so I
Mm.
could get that content out. So me, I will always make like small goals. I post a picture, I got like 5 likes, and everybody liked the picture. I knew them. So I was like, all
Mm-hmm.
right, cool. I just got to get to the point where people I don't know like the
Right.
pictures, right?
Facts. Facts.
So then
Facts.
that started happening. People I didn't know started liking them. So I'm like,
Mm.
well, cool. I need to get a photographer to like the picture. If a photographer like these pictures, I
Mm.
gotta be doing
Got
something
you.
straight because
Got
like this is
you.
what
I
they do.
like that.
Not knowing what level they at, But if I
Mm-hmm.
see photography on it, you got to be past me,
Yeah.
you know. So then those things started happening. So by making like all of these little small goals, you look up 6, 7 months later. I mean, you done checked off a lot of points,
Mm.
and you are so far ahead of where I was when I first started.
That's
You
awesome,
know,
man.
so the model thing was going really good, and I had a young lady ask me would I photograph her wedding. So at first I'm like, no, I don't know about no wedding.
Mm.
And she was just like, look, if you could take a picture of a person in a swimsuit and it looked like this, you could. All I'm wearing is a
Mm.
wedding dress. She was like, no pressure. I
Right.
said, okay, cool. I had like 8 months to her wedding date, right?
Mm-hmm.
I found this tutorial thing on YouTube. I purchased it. It was like how to be a wedding photographer from like F stoppers or something like that. It was like a
Mm.
13-hour thing. I watched it like
Wow.
every day for like 8 months. So when I got to the wedding, I was like, kind of familiar with what I should be doing.
Yeah.
But the reaction that I got from her let me know that this is where I needed to be.
Wow.
Like I mean, she loved the photos so much, and I still shoot models and I still do those things. But when I take a picture of a model, it's gonna go in their portfolio. That
Mm-hmm.
portfolio has to switch, right? She got to keep getting
Mm.
new pictures,
That makes
so it's not gonna
sense.
live too much, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I do that wedding, it's one and
Forever.
done. It's no more, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was almost like I love music, right?
Yeah.
And my mom them like Michael Jackson and stuff. So when they hear that music, it bring them back to a time.
Yeah.
They can remember where they was at, how they was feeling, and all of that. With these weddings, photos, to me, that's like my music. 20
Mm-hmm.
years down the line, when you look at that picture, you're gonna remember. You might start hearing
Facts.
conversations in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
So I knew like that was it.
Well, let me ask you
I
this,
knew that
man.
was it.
Let me ask you this. So like you knew that was it, and you've been doing. How long have you been doing wedding photography now?
So I'll say like 2014, 2015 was my first wedding I shot, and now
Okay.
we in 21, going
Okay.
in 22.
So seven. So around 7 years. All right. So do you because you do a lot of things. So the question I was going to ask is that how do you stay in your lane? Because I have a kind of a hypothesis that I think that individuals could actually get further in life if they had more focus, right? If they had more
Yeah,
focus. Now with that being said, um, how do you sort of eliminate opportunities, sort of distractions that are disguised as opportunities?
yeah. So when it comes to me like staying focused on it, right? I like absolutely like love it. Like I
Okay.
can photograph a wedding. I could do a wedding like every single day.
Oh
Like
wow,
5 days, 7 days a week. Just maybe one day for like a day to rest.
that's
But I can
good.
do it like nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
Recently we had a wedding. It was on a Saturday in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
We finished at like 1 o'clock in the morning. 6
Dang.
a.m. we at the airport flying out to Houston to go shoot another wedding.
For
After that,
real?
we on the way to New Orleans to do an engagement shoot.
Dang.
You know, so for me, it's just that I like love doing it like so much. I love to bring like joy and like impact people in a positive way.
Mm.
So it makes it a lot easier for me to stay like straight on it because I just absolutely like love doing it.
Gotcha. That's good. And I think that's what you at the beginning of the conversation you said something to the effect of like what is it that you can think about all day? Like you wake up and you're thinking about it. You eating food, but you're thinking about it. You go to bed and you're thinking about it. That was your definition of identifying a lane. And I can see that you have definitely done that because man, you can eat, sleep, breathe photography. And so you know that you found your lane. And so I think that's absolutely amazing that you can say that you've done that, man. And I think that that's exactly what I want for more people in this world, man. Because I think some people can say that about their lives, but not everybody. I think sometimes we do things just because it's what's available to us, but not everybody loves what they do. And my desire is for more people to wake up and just do what you love. And so, kind of with that being said, what What kind of and what would you say to somebody that says, all right, you know what, I love photography, right? I love photography. I want to pursue photography. What type of steps, action items would you give them to say, hey, if you are trying to pursue photography, these are some of the things that you should do? What would you say?
Yeah, so first thing you want to do is go get like a nice camera, right?
Okay.
Now, when I say nice camera, doesn't mean you need to go start spending two and three, $4,000 on a camera,
Okay.
right? You should only spend that kind of money on it once you start making the money,
Gotcha.
right? So I would say like a camera that range around like $700 would be
Okay.
like a good like starting point that'll kind of get your feet wet. Start doing photo shoots. It doesn't even take for you to have like real clients. You got a lot of family members. Everybody got
Mm.
Instagram, so
Yep.
people want to take pictures all the time. You
Mm-hmm.
can literally go on your phone, see somebody, and say, "Hey, would you want to do a photo shoot?" Right? I'll
Mm.
give you this amount of photos. They're gonna
Yep.
do their own makeup because they want to be cute and they want to post something,
Fact.
you know. So it's getting out there and getting that groundwork in, which is them 20 to 30 free photo shoots
Yep.
before you even collect $1 from it,
Mm.
because you want to make sure when that person gives you the money, you're able to get them something that you're proud to get them and they're going to be proud to show to
Absolutely.
somebody else. You
Mm-hmm.
want to definitely get on YouTube. There's so much information now on Google and YouTube. Um, I Google top fashion photographers in the
Mm.
world, and it give me a whole list of them, and I
Mm-hmm.
go through each one of them photos, their
Mm-hmm.
portfolios, anything I can see. YouTube, if they had an interview like this, I'm
Mm.
listening to them. I love it when
Mm.
they show me like how they shooting, because what I'm doing is I'm looking at the lens that they're shooting with. I'm looking at the distance that they shooting the person. Sometimes you even get to see the picture that they took. So it's like, okay,
Mm.
if I'm about this far from him, I'm using this kind of lens, I'm at this angle, I'm gonna get this type of
Mm.
image, you
Right,
know?
right. That's
I would
awesome.
say like try to connect with somebody in your area that's already doing what you're doing. Not so much so you can learn how to shoot like them. You want to know what they're thinking about, right?
Mm.
When I go to seminars, and I got photographers that I think are really good. My first questions that I ask them is, when you walk into a room with a bride, what's the first thing you thinking? What the first thing you looking for? You
Mm.
know, are you looking for window light? Are you looking for, you're gonna use flash type
Mm.
photography where you create your own situation? What do you see? And
Mm.
once I can understand what you're thinking about, now I can go and create the picture. But if
Love
I'm
it.
only just looking at the actual photos, I don't have no story behind how did you get to that point,
Got you.
you know?
Yeah. That's dope, man. I love it. Let me ask you this. Do are there people that reach out to you about photography, and do you like teach photography, or are you in that lane yet, or what?
Yeah, so yeah, man, which is crazy. I can't believe it. Like, I can't believe people be really like contacting me, asking me to
Right.
like teach them stuff, like for real. Like,
Mm.
but yeah, so I have blessed enough to have like a good amount of people that will reach out to me and ask me questions. I even have done like some one-on-one trainings and
Oh,
things
that's
like that.
nice.
We're looking to do a class right now.
I love it.
Um, that probably be like 10 photographers. I have like the makeup, I mean the models and everything. So definitely ready to like take it to the next level. I'm also looking for photographers too to like add to the company,
Mm.
because even though I shoot a lot of weddings, I turn down about half of that number
Really?
because yeah, because people call.
Hmm.
All right, I'm gonna give prime example. I got a bride. Her wedding is supposed to be on December 30th this year, but she need to like move it to like the
Mm.
26th of February. The planner tell me this yesterday. Yesterday I get another call for a client that want the 26th, and they take the date away. You
Wow.
know, so now it's either I'm not gonna be able to do her wedding, or she got to find a new date. And it happens so often where people just emailing me, I'm getting married on this
Mm.
day, are you available? And I'm like, nope, nope, no, I'm booked,
Mm.
booked, booked. Unfortunately, I'm booked. It'd be so great to have like a team of people that maybe like 4 or 5 guys, ladies,
Mm-hmm.
that I can have actually on my website, with like their
Mm.
name, their picture, like a really awesome headshot, and like this is the gallery, a photo that they have taken,
I love that.
because I want to scale it like big, because I mean, I've done a lot of groundwork, and I'm glad that people like enjoying the photos and the
Mm.
contacting. Now it's like, all right, how many? Let's impact more people, because I
Right.
only could impact 60 of them,
Right.
basically.
I mean, so if you're listening to this and you're a photographer, if you don't slide into this man's DMs, right, and if
Yep.
this is your lane, if this is something that you want to do, reach out to Travis and get into it, because I think a lot of times, sometimes you can have individuals that are really good at what they do. But sometimes they can be in different markets. And to, let's say, for example, me, I'm in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, man. It's not the biggest market out here, as it would be in a Miami or in Atlanta or places like that. So I think individuals that have the skill set, have the ability, it would be great for them to connect with you, man, because I'm really big on collaboration. I
Yep.
think, like, man, we miss a lot of opportunities because we want to do them by ourselves versus saying, like, hey, man, like, why don't we just build a dream team? Heck, everybody in the NBA
Yes.
team, why can't we do it
Exactly.
in business, or within the lanes that we have going on, man? And so I say that to say this: like, don't hear this, have the skill set, have the ability, and most importantly, the desire, and not take that step, because it's that action piece, it's that execution that oftentimes means the difference between being where you're at and where you desire to be in life. And so, man, reach out so that you can actually go and be a part of what he has going on. Because I say, if I was a photographer and I would say, hey, man, you're turning down 60 to 70 weddings, and I look at my calendar and I did 5 last year, why would I not, like, want to say, hey, man, what if I could pick up an extra 10? Like, what could that do for me as a photographer? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I think that's amazing. So I'm hoping and I'm praying. Matter of fact, no, I'm not. I know somebody's gonna reach out to you because of this, and I'm actually
Yeah.
excited about that. Um,
Yeah. And as far as that action piece, right?
mm-hmm.
When you slide in, if you're gonna write somebody, don't only write them. Try to get them on the phone,
Yep,
right?
that's very
Because
true.
so many I am, and everybody, other photographers are having so many different conversations through text messages with friends,
Mm-hmm.
family, likes, and they writing people back. If you only write and say, hey, I'm such and such and whatever, they can be like, all right, I'm gonna get to them, but
Yeah, it's very
forget
true.
by the end of the night. I did that myself, right? I'm gonna show you about the action part. So it's this guy's named Ray Roman. He like probably the top video guy like in the world. Like
Mm,
Ray Roman, like YouTube him after we get off.
I
I'm
am.
telling you, these things look like they on Pixar. They're like so
mm,
good. But he ended up liking one of my photos one time, and I was like a fan of his work. I screenshot sent to my friends like, "Yo, look who liked the picture," right? Next
mm,
thing you know, he commented on one. So me, I'm like writing back, "Hey man, what's going on?"
yeah.
End up getting him on the phone, right? Got him on the phone, and we talked. He's like, he live in Atlanta. He's like, well, I got a wedding in like India or something. I'll be back like Wednesday. He's like, well, but I'll be in Miami like in August or something.
Mm,
It's like May when we talking.
right.
No, no, no. You say you're gonna be back on Wednesday. On Thursday, I'm gonna come see you, right? So I flew from Atlanta, from
Mm,
Fort Lauderdale to Atlanta, drove to his house to sit down and talk with him, because the type of weddings that he's doing, floor arrangements, 500,000. He just
crazy.
did a wedding that was $10 million. A wedding, yeah.
10
He do
million?
big, 10 million for the wedding. He do big boy stuff, big stuff, right?
That's
So
crazy.
me, I want to have opportunity. It might not happen, who knows? But I I have to make you remember me,
Mm-hmm.
right? You To this day, he still be writing me, calling me. We still talk.
That's
But
dope.
had I only wrote him a message and never like got him on the phone or put
I
myself in front
love
of
it.
him, I'd have just been another person that wrote him.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to that action, take that
Next step.
next step.
I love it. I love it, man. Man, you've dropped a lot of gems during this conversation, man. This has been super awesome, man. And so I'm excited to transition into this next segment for those individuals that may be in a space to where they lack clarity about what's next for them. What encouragement would you have for somebody saying, like, man, I don't know what my lane is, man. I'm maybe working, I may be doing whatever with my life, and I want to, take a step into something. Like, what type of encouragement, what type of advice would you have for somebody that's trying to figure out what their lane is in life?
Yeah. So once you figure out what it is that you like, Nike made the best slogan, like just do it. Like
Yeah.
just go out there and actually like do it. That don't mean you have to quit your job if you got a job because you want to
True.
like sustain like an income and things like that. But you're going to get off. And with all of that time that you got while you're off, you need to be dedicating it to whatever it is that you're like interested in researching.
Mm,
Like I say, like to this day, I shot tons of weddings, makes money, the whole situation, and I'm still on YouTube, like learning about lighting, or learning about like posing,
mm,
or just watching the the fashion photographers shoot. The reason I
right,
still photograph like the models is because I like to understand how the body work and like the
right.
type of things they get. I go to the mall sometime to buy absolutely nothing but to take pictures of all of the different store, um, like the pictures they have.
Mm,
You go by Polo, they might got like the dude, he like chilling one type of way, the other
yeah.
person kind of in the background looking this way. I'm like, oh, you know what? That look cool with some groomsmen. Let me take that picture right there.
I
You know what I'm
love it.
saying? Or this picture look great with the bride. Go by
Yeah.
the jewelry stores, Mayors, whatever jewelry store. They got like a photograph of probably like the girl lips in the hand, like right here. That's an awesome photo for the album. So
Mm,
continuously looking for things that inspire you to go down the path, whatever path that is for you, is out there. Like
right.
you're not because you don't want to do something that ain't never been done before. Like everything that you're trying to do, somebody do it,
Facts.
you know? So you
Mm-hmm.
have tons of um trial and
Mm-hmm.
tribulation and testimonies and all of these things about how they got to the point. But it's just like staying focused, like
Mm-hmm.
working at it. Like I'm not going into my room until about 2, 3 in the morning. My
Mm.
wife just got on me today because I'm eating inside of the office and I'm trying to work, and she's like,
Mm.
"You gonna just you're not gonna come eat with the family? Like you're just gonna,
Right, right,
you know,
right.
keep coming in here?"
Yep.
But you have to be like that. I don't even know the guy name, but he said like, when you want something so bad about like the breathing situation,
E.T.
you
Eric
know,
Thomas. When
yeah,
you want to be successful as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you'll be successful.
right.
Yeah.
And I got it. I
Yeah.
like I want it like that. I put the 10,000 hours in, like Kanye say. Put the
Mm-hmm.
10,000 hours in to master it. I'm trying to go to 300,000 hours.
Okay.
Like
I have
you
a
got to
question
have
for
that.
you because because so do you feel like there's something different about you? Because what I don't want somebody to do is listen to this and be like, you know what, Travis, he's an anomaly, right? He takes his camera with him everywhere. He's perfect, right? Me, I'm a little bit different. Maybe I'm not that. Maybe I leave my camera at home sometimes. Maybe I just like. Do you believe that there's something different about you that makes you take advantage of all these opportunities, or what is it that puts you in that mindset to make you want to do that? Because I want people to walk away with whatever that is, if everybody
Yeah.
can tap into it, and if you're not an alien, right?
Yeah. So definitely, I don't do nothing different. I'm a quote like Nipsey Hussle. The only thing I do is I just don't stop. You
Mm,
know, like I'm not afraid to fail at it, right?
okay.
Failing at something, if I didn't make it to the NFL, let's say that's like a fail, I didn't make it. It's okay because I put all my emphasis into, I put all my passion, I worked at it. I didn't like take
Mm-hmm.
any shortcuts or anything like that. And if it don't happen, that just means it's not for me. Fine, let's go figure out the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything is not gonna hit. Like I said,
Very
like my
true.
marketing company, it was cool, but it didn't really do much. The barbershop, it was cool, but it didn't really do it, you
Mm-hmm.
know? But the photos was the hit,
That's it.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I just kept on going, like never stopping, never taking like no for an answer. Like,
Mm.
you know, you can't hit so me and my friend Brandon, we talk about stuff like this, right?
Mm,
We talk about like making investments and things like that, and then sometimes some of the investment stuff we be talking about, it'd be like really risky, like a lot of money type things,
yep.
and it's like, yo, like we don't have to try to hit a Powerball every time. Let's just
Mm,
get on base,
yeah.
right?
Facts.
Let's think of all of everything we're doing like getting on base. If we
Mm-hmm.
could just get on base enough, eventually we'll hit a home run, we'll hit a
Mm-hmm.
grand slam, you
Yep.
know. So I might book a person at my smallest package, but I just keep going. And now I got one that picked the second package. I keep going, and now I got one that's picking like the third package and higher, you know.
Mm,
So the whole thing is like I am not any different than like anybody else. I'm exactly the same way as everybody else. But the thing about it is I'm okay to fail. I'm
mm.
not like
I love it.
afraid for it not to work out.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I'm just not afraid. Like if it don't work out, don't work out.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let me ask you this.
let's go do something else.
What motivates you?
What motivates me is waking up every day with the opportunity to impact somebody in a positive way, right?
Mm,
Like I know that all of the work that I put in behind the scenes that people have no idea that I do when I show up and then I give them that product and they just like, oh my God, like I can't believe that's me. Thank you so much. We just love you so much. Oh my God, you're the best thing ever. Like that stuff motivate me to impact people, to leave people with something, right? Look at this. Tupac been gone for a long time. Kids know about him
yeah.
now that wasn't even born
Nowhere
when
near.
he was living, right?
Facts.
But because like the imprint that he left,
Mm-hmm.
he's still like that. So I know my reach probably won't be as big as that or anything like that. But for a big group of people in my wedding stuff, pictures,
Right, right,
things I
right.
do, I'm gonna be that because they're gonna always have those images.
I got a question for you. What will Travis's legacy be?
Well, I hope that the legacy that I leave behind is one of a person that always believed in himself, that didn't care about what like anybody thought, that
Mm-hmm.
never like succumbed to like peer pressure in a sense that it wasn't like devastating.
Yeah.
Maybe I took some gum out of the store a couple times. I probably shouldn't did that, you
Yeah.
know. But any like I never succumbed to the big things.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to be somebody that like people respected.
Mm-hmm.
They respect me. They respect my opinion. They know that anything that I'm talking to them about, anything that I tell them I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do it 100%.
Mm,
And again, if it don't work out, I try my best, right?
absolutely.
So I think that it'll be somewhere around that. A great dad, loving husband, um, that'll be it. But even to the point, right? So two of my assistants, I've been knowing them since I was like 7 years old.
Mm,
When I was in Kansas City, I told them like, "Yo, I'm about to like start with the camera." They like, "We on board." So
mm,
they was with me like from the first thing, like all the way to this day, because they know when I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go all in.
mm,
I ain't gonna leave nothing on the table. I'm gonna be home studying while they chilling, you know,
mm.
getting the information and bringing it back to them so that we can keep it going.
Man, thank you so much, man. I'm really inspired, man, and I don't I'm not easily inspired because like I really think you know it's easy to say something. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can say anything, and I'm over there like, okay, let me look through the cracks. There's something in here. Like I'm that guy, right? But man,
Yeah.
like this whole conversation, man, has been one of the most inspiring conversations that I've ever had. Man,
Uh,
you are solid like through and through, and just to continue to have the same mindset year after year. Someone that had this mindset in high school that still, after the NFL, still has his mindset. After transitioning to photography, still has his mindset. After 7 years in this, still has this mindset. Still staying up late at night, perfecting his game, becoming a student of their craft. Like, I think that's amazing, man. And like, you are an individual that no matter what you do, whether it's photography or whether you put up the camera one day and say, I'm going to do something else. I have no doubt that you're going to be amazing because of the one thing that you said. I'm not willing to fail, and I'm going to put my everything into it. And so, for the individuals that are watching this segment, I want to extend that same effort to you, that same sentiment to you, that no matter whatever it is that you do, what you're trying to find your lane, whatever it is that you're trying to do in life, like give your everything to it. Don't be afraid to fail. And if you do that, you can be okay laying your head down at night, because guess what? If it doesn't work out, you gave your all, and that's enough. And so, with that being said, man, Travis, are there any last words that you have for the people? Anything that you want to say?
Yeah, well, I just really appreciate everybody, that's tuning in,
Mm,
and just giving us like your time and attention, because I know you could have been doing a lot of other things.
right.
Um, I absolutely like love like photographing and impacting people like in a
Mm,
positive way. So whatever it is that you want to do, just like stick to it, like research it, learn about it, like don't be afraid to ask questions, write to people. I'm about to write Sports Illustrated people right now because they doing all of
mm,
this first they got Meg the Stallion on the cover, they got the tennis player,
mm-hmm.
so well, hey, y'all ain't never have an NFL player do a cover, you know.
Ooh,
So I'm about to write them like tonight,
that's
you
dope.
know.
I love it.
So don't be afraid to reach out to people, and if they take it, they take it. They don't, it don't stop your show, you know.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. So how can we find you, man? Give us your website, give us your Instagram handles. Where can the people find you?
Yeah, so my website is my name, travisdanielsphotography.com. My Instagram is the same thing, Travis Daniels Photography. My Facebook, everything is gonna be Travis Daniels Photography. So definitely reach out to me, ask me questions, let me know that you heard about me, you heard our us on the podcast and everything like that, so I know exactly like where you come from, and then we can converse. But yeah, man, yeah, I'm easy to get in contact with. You know, you can hit me up, and yeah, we get it going.
All right, man. I love it. I love it. And so, man, we're gonna wrap this session up by saying, man, don't be afraid to go after whatever it is that you want to do in life. Like Travis said, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you love? What is it that you think about in the morning? What is it that you think about at night? Like that is some of the telltale signs that is something that you should be doing with your life. And so, if you haven't found your lane in life, I want you to start there, like Travis said today. So thank you so much for this time and another segment of Identify Your Lane. We're out. Peace.